Higher A, week 3, starts with this question on inequalities. 3x plus 6 is less than 4.5. Just solve it as you would solve a normal equation. So I'm going to take 6 away from both sides, take 6 away from both sides. That's going to give me 3x is less than minus 1.5. So then if I divide by 3, I've got x is less than a half than minus 0.5, the minus a half or minus 0.5. Unknowns on both sides, still going to solve it just as I would solve a normal linear equation, but just keeping the inequality sign. So add 3 to both sides. That's going to give me 4x is greater than 3x plus 3. Take away 3x from both sides. Doesn't matter which order you do those two things in. That's going to give me x is greater than 3. That's it. I've already got just one x, so there's no need to divide. Question 3, we're going to do expanding brackets. So we got 5 times 3a gives me 15a. We got 5 times by b gives me 5b. We got 2 times by 2a gives me 4a. We got 2 times by minus b, which gives me minus 2b. Collect like terms, 19a plus 5b, take away 3b, gives me plus 3b. Question 4. Expanding these brackets, 2 times a gives me 2a. 2 times minus 2b gives me minus 4b. Careful with this now. I want to take the whole of this minus 3. Times it by a gives me minus 3a. But this is the part where some people might make a mistake sometimes. Minus 3 times by minus 4b gives me plus 12b. So I got 2a, take away 3a, which gives me minus a. And I got minus 4b plus 12b, which gives me plus 8b. Or 8b minus a. I could have it the other way round. So that is the same as 8b take away a. Question 5. We've got subtracting mixed numbers. So 5 6/5. And I'm going to take away 1/2. Look for lowest common multiple as a denominator. So I got 10 and 10. That's times by 2. That gives me 12 tenths. That's times by 5 gives me 5 tenths. 12 take away 5 is 7. 7 tenths is my answer. Dividing the mixed numbers, so 5, 10, 14/5 divided by 1/3 is the same as, using the multiplicative inverse, 14/5 times by 3 over 1, or times by 3, which is going to give me 28, 38, 42/5, which gives me 8 and 2/5, 8 wholes and 2/5. Okay, 3.2 times by 1.6. So I might do 32 times by 16. Whatever method you've got for that, you guys are now in year 9 and your top set, so I presume you've got a method that works for you. I don't mind what method that is. Could be a column method, could be a grid method, but your answer to 32 times by 1.6 is 512. Then you've got to realize how that's changed. It's times by 10 and times by 10. So your answer is going to be 5.12. Same deal here. We got 10.5 times by 4.5, so I'd probably make that 105 times by 45. Whatever method you want for that, 105 times 45 is 4,725. So this is going to be 47.25 because it's multiplied by 10, it's multiplied by 10. My answer's got to be divided by 100. Also, it's about 10 times 4 or so on, so it's not going to be 472 and it's not going to be 4.72. Question 9. 3 divided by 0.5 is 6 because 3 divided by a half, how many halves in 3? There are 6 of them. So, I mean, you could do it like this. 3 divided by a half equals 3 times by 2 over 1 equals 6 over 1. But you should just now know that if you divide by half, it's the same as multiplying by 2. How many halves in 3? Answer 6. Right, 4 divided by 0.4. I would write this as a fraction, as a division properly like that. So 4 divided by 0.4 is the same as 40 divided by 4, which is just 10. Okay, so that's times by 10, that's times by 10. That keeps it equivalent, and so my answer is 10. Okay, we've got a bit of work on thirds here now. Now remember, these root 2's, they're just like having an x, so it's just like collecting like terms. So I've got 4, take away 4, these are going to cancel each other out. Then I've got these two like terms. 7 lots of root 2 plus another 5 lots of root 2 just gives me 12 root 2, and that's it. Now for this one, this is now a little bit different because I need to be looking for square factors when I'm simplifying 192. I'm looking for square factors. So I'm thinking about numbers that go into 192, which are square numbers. And I'm thinking about 64, 128. It goes in, doesn't it? I think it does. Right, so I'm thinking 64 is a square number that goes into 192. So I'm thinking root 64, root 3. Okay, because remember, when I'm simplifying these, I'm looking for a square factor to break it out. So the square root of two numbers multiplied together, in this case 64 and 3, which gives me 192, is the same as those things split out. Square root a times by square root b. But I can simplify this root 64 to just 8. So that gives me 8 root 3 plus 4 lots of root 3, which again, same as the last one, it gives me 12 as the coefficient, but this time it's 12 root 3. Question 13. A to the 4 times a to the 3 is going to give me a to the 7, and b times b gives me b squared. This is just x on its own. X to the 4 divided by x to the 3 just gives me x to the power 1, which is x. Okay, next question. Right, so this is this one where we're talking about how many millimeters squared in 1 centimeter squared. And I've drawn this little square to demonstrate this. 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter is the same as 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters. So 1 centimeter squared is the same as 100 millimeters squared. Okay, so I don't divide by 10, I need to divide by 100 to change to centimeters squared, because that's the correct thing for area. So here it's going to be just 15 centimeters squared. And it's the same deal here, remember guys, I've done this before, so we've got 1 meter squared is the same as 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters. So 1 meter squared is the same as 10,000 centimeters squared. So I've got to, from meters to centimeters, I've got to times it by 10,000. Right, so 9.95 times by 10,000 gives me 99,500 centimeters squared. Question 17. Make x the subject. Right, x appears twice. Not sure you guys are going to know this. Don't know. Not sure. This is, I think, a step on from the previous types of changing the subject of the formula here. Right, so here's how it works. I've got to get everything with an x on one side. So all the terms which contain x are going to go on one side, and everything else is going to go on the other. So in this case, I'm just going to subtract x from both sides. That's going to give me y equals ax minus x. And here's the key step, which I'm not sure you guys have seen before, but I need to factorize out the x. So I'm going to factorize x. I'm factorizing what I need to work on. So factorize x. There's my key note. Okay, so on this side I've now got x, a take away 1, and on this side I've still got the y. So when I then divide both sides by a minus 1, that's going to give me x. So I've got y divided by a minus 1 equals x. Okay, making x the subject. So I've got to multiply both sides by x. That's going to give me xy equals a plus b. Then I'm just going to divide both sides by y. So it's going to give me x equals a plus b over y. Next question. Calculate the area of the circle with radius 10 centimeters. Leave your answer in terms of pi. Well, God, that's a bit easy. Right, area equals pi r squared. The radius is given to us, so it's pi times by 10 squared, which is going to be 100 pi. Leave it exactly in terms of pi, that's my answer, 100 pi. Calculate the area of a semicircle with diameter 12. So if the diameter is 12, the radius is 6. So I got pi 6 squared, which gives me 36 pi. That's not my answer because that would be the correct area for the whole circle. So therefore, there's my symbol for therefore, if I divide that in half, so 36 pi divided by 2 gives me 18 lots of